with the interview, what do you want people to get from this?
Basically, what I was hoping for this is people might be like, they might not be satisfied with their life, and their life is very stable, and your life is not super stable, right?
Not at all.
But you're kind of chasing like happiness in your dreams, so...
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I want them to look at it kind of from that angle, to see kind of like, oh, I don't have to like just chase what people tell me to go after. I can chase whatever I want.
This is Dan, a quirky English lad from Leeds, a city of about 800,000 people that I've never heard of in the northern English county of Yorkshire. Dan decided to shape his life into what he loves doing, traveling the world and filming his journey with a tiny little action camera. I spent the day with him in Seoul, Korea, filming a video for his Let's Go series on his YouTube channel, Where is Dan? I noticed a certain curiosity in him, almost the same that you find in a child, eager to learn as much as possible about the world around him. I decided to have a chat with him to pick his brain about living the life of an up-and-coming travel YouTuber, in hopes to inform and inspire people that might have a similar dream. This is his story.
That's a hard thing though for people, is to chase a dream. And the thing is, if you ask me, why do I do what I do? I can't like pinpoint the exact reason why. Growing up, I came from a very stable home. My parents had very good jobs. And they were like, Dan, go to university. Dan, do this career. And I should have, like everybody else, followed that path. But for some reason I didn't. And I've always thought, like, why have I not done that? And why have I gone down this path of making YouTube videos and doing my own thing? I always connect mostly with people abroad that have got a similar lifestyle to me. Like, obviously I've got my friends back in England, great friends that I've had since high school, but they've gone down the path of starting a job, having a career, getting a mortgage, raising a family, getting a dog. And I'm just not like that at all.
Yeah.
And when I travel, I always really connect with people that are like-minded like me. And I wonder, we're not raised like that, but why do we have that mindset?
Yeah.
I don't know why. Why do you think you're like that?
From a very young age, I think that I just kind of did exactly what I wanted to do. And my parents just fully supported it. So I'm super lucky with that too, where I've always had that kind of support. But
I was kind of, though, pushed in the direction of going to university. I wasn't like pushing, like, you have to do this is what you should do. But it was kind of like suggested.
Yeah.
But I never really wanted to do it. I did actually go to university, but I dropped out. And then it's not that they weren't bothered. They were obviously worried about me, but I finally came around to like what I wanted to do. And now obviously they're happy with me. So maybe that's why I've kind of gone down this path, because I didn't want to, obviously in school, I don't want to be in the classroom and say yes to the teachers, yes sir, no sir. I just want to have that freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
I guess like from a young age, you had something inside of you though.
I was never like academic. If I sat down and did an exam, I'd probably do really well. But I just have zero interest in that. And so when I left school, I didn't want to continue down that path of working a job. I just wanted to do my own thing. And I kind of floated around for about 5 years. And then I luckily landed myself in a job, in a sales job. You know Sky?
Sky? I'm not sure.
Sky's like a really big TV program in England.
Yeah.
And they started a streaming service as well, similar to Netflix. The 2 years I worked there, I was a #1 salesman. I said to him, I want to go and work in Tesco today, or I want to go and work in Currys. Currys is a big electronics store like Walmart, for example. So I'd go there as a freelance person. I'd have a plinth at the end of the store, and I'd sell these boxes to anyone that walked past. They'd walk past, I'd say, oh, excuse me, what are you doing today? Engage in conversation, try to sell the boxes, and obviously the more I sold, the more money I made. And I just saw it as an opportunity and did really well. So I earned loads of money doing that for 2 years, and then I did nothing for like 2 years. I just traveled. You know, I make like these videos now of traveling, exploring and meeting people. I've always done that, I just didn't film it. When I first came to Korea, I saw it as an opportunity to finally make videos and have a bit more freedom to earn extra money aside from what I was doing in England. And that's when I started my first channel, Pirate Dan. And that was me making videos, basically me getting pissed in Seoul and going to local markets. But the problem with the channel, it didn't have a set theme. I was making videos, getting drunk at the markets, doing restaurant reviews, showing how to get a visa, music videos. It was like a whole array of different videos. It wasn't like a set theme. So the problem was when people subscribed to the channel, they didn't know what they were watching. They didn't know what was going to be presented to them. And I realized that to be successful on YouTube, like to have a successful channel, you need to have a channel with a clear set theme from the get-go. And I always loved exploring, and those were the videos that did the best. So then I started my new channel, Where Is Dan, and all those videos are only exploring videos. That's what I like to do best. And I remember, I told you before, regardless of making videos, I'm always doing this stuff. Like, I'm always getting lost, exploring different neighborhoods, interacting with people. So I just thought it's a perfect opportunity to do the videos, and it's doing really well.
What kind of person were you like in high school, and what were your dreams back then?
I socialized with everybody. I just kind of floated about all different social groups. I was just friends with everybody. And I never, ever thought about having a job, like being a lawyer, being a doctor. I just couldn't care less. I just wanted to have fun.
What would high school Dan think of you now?
I'm still high school Dan. I'm still high school Dan, that's the thing. I haven't changed.
I'm stoked to hear that, man. I'm the same. So let's talk about your YouTube channel now. Where is Dan? How would you describe your videos to people who haven't seen them?
Interactions with people in different locations. So before, it wasn't like centered around me, but I was like filming me a lot, and I'd interact with people. Whereas I realized people are more interested in seeing like what I get up to, but like from my perspective, like pointing the camera forwards instead of towards me. Interacting with local people, showing local food, local culture. The everyday person that goes traveling or is sat at home, they're just gonna do the touristy thing. They're not gonna see Korea for what it really is or India for what it really is. They're just gonna do what Google tells them to do. Whereas regardless of me making YouTube videos, my style of traveling is no itinerary, turn up and see what happens. It's like when I was in Japan, I had no plan. I arrived at Fukuoka, I took a bus to Nagasaki. Nagasaki, I wanted to hitchhike to Ikeshima, and I ended up meeting a millionaire. He took me to his yacht. I stayed with his family for 2 days, and then he drove me back up to Fukuoka, and we had like a fantastic time. And that's because I had no plan. So my channel is about interacting with people and showing different cultures. It's not just like, hey, look at me, I'm in a coffee shop, I'm doing a touristy thing in a palace. I don't care about that. It's meeting people.
How hard is it to capture interesting stories then?
Yeah, yeah. Editing, a lot of editing. Like the people we met, we were there for like 2 hours, and I was filming a lot. So out of the 2 hours, I'll choose the best moments, because I'd say the majority of people just want to see the highlights. They don't want to sit there and watch people blabber on. It's not like a podcast.
Have you ever had the interaction where like you're meeting somebody, you kind of have your camera here and they just like get really mad at you?
Not really.
No?
No, 5% or less of the time. The thing is, I can tell if people don't want to be on camera. So if I normally just hold my camera here, and if they're like engaging with me, I know obviously they're happy with the camera because I can see it, it's like obvious. But most of the time, if they like put their head down or they're talking like this, I know they don't want to be on camera. So I'll try my best to realize that they don't want to be on camera and then like turn it away. Or I'll point my camera downwards and just point like the thing that I'm buying. So I'll always try and judge the situation. Some people are just very vocal, like I don't want to be on camera. I'm like, all right, cool.
Okay, so we lost our lighting back at the park there. So we're filming at a new chicken restaurant now. So.
Yeah, boy, I like chicken. Chicken and beer restaurant.
Why do you travel? What does it teach you about the world?
I was 21 or 22, and I was in Spain with my friend Tom in Alicante, and we wanted to go to a small town called Guatemala. but the bus had finished. So the only way was to hitchhike, and we'd never hitchhiked. We were young and poor, and we didn't have money staying in a hotel. We had to get to Guatemala. The first person that picked us up after 2 minutes turned out to be the security guard from the local club in Guatemala that we were friends with. And it was just so coincidental. And then he drives us, it was like 20 kilometers to Guatemala. We get there, we stay in a bed and breakfast. And the people that are staying there are these American students from California studying architecture. And it turns out that some of the students that we met, we'd also run into in Madrid, coincidentally, like a week before. And then that summer, my friend Tom went home, and I spent the summer with these American students that I'd met, and I had the best summer of my life. I was with them for 6 weeks. This isn't fun, but a week after I met them, there's a fiesta, it's in June, called San Juan. They have big bonfires on the beach, and they burn these effigies of these saints all around the town on the east coast of Spain. And you run around the fire 7 times, throw sand over your shoulder, and then jump over the bonfire. And not everybody does it, but I was drunk and stupid. I jumped over the fire, landed in the fire, and I got 2nd-degree burns on both my feet. The skin was black. I was in a wheelchair for 3 weeks. I couldn't walk. And that was a week after I met all these students. But after that happened, they were like super caring. We went still partying. I was in a wheelchair. They're pushing me around in Alicante. I had a fantastic summer. I was like, this is amazing. I just want to do stuff like this all the time. But that really spurred my interest in traveling. I've always been adventurous and always wanted to do things like traveling and exploring different places and building tree houses or making fires or walking in the woods, like just doing stuff like that. But that was really a thing, like going abroad by myself. I was like, this is cool. I'm gonna do this more often. And it was since then that I've just been on this trip since that age of working for myself and traveling the world.
It's funny because like a lot of people could go through that moment and it'd be like the worst trip ever, right? It sounds like you made the most of it and you just had the best time ever and it inspired you, right?
I think as well, the reason why I have that mindset of turning a negative situation into a positive is my upbringing at home. Like, my parents were always super positive. I was brought up in the 90s where our door was always open. It was like just before the internet, we were always socializing. I'd get home from school and I'd just like be on the bicycle, playing with like local kids, like being in their houses, having dinner at like friends' houses. Our door was open, we'd have parties on the weekends, like super social and always make the best out of any situation. So even though that happened, I was like, I'm still in Spain. I still met all these people. I'm not just gonna sit in a wheelchair in my house and do nothing. I'm gonna make the most of it.
With all of this travel around the world, by the way, you've been to like Cuba, Mexico, you've been up north in Europe too, right? To see like the aurora or whatever?
I tried to go, in Iceland and also France. I just love traveling.
So you've been all over the place. How much does that cost you?
I'll go on a trip, film a certain amount of videos. So like, let's say for example this trip. Whilst I'm in Korea and Japan, my plan before coming here was to film 35 videos to last me 35 weeks. So then obviously I go home from this trip at the end of June. So that gives me July, August, September, October, November. It gives me 5 months in England to earn money, but then I've got videos uploading in the background. Then in November, I'll go on another trip. So when I left Korea, I had videos, but I kind of didn't plan it properly, so I had to go on trips in between. Whereas this trip, I planned it so I'll have enough videos to last me for the whole summer. I can earn money in England and then travel again when I need to.
Like right now, you just got over 5,000 subscribers, right? Is that enough to sustain your future?
No, not at all. I'd probably have to have 100,000 subscribers and have 100,000 views per video, because at the minute I earn £200 a month. So I make like $250 a month, which is nothing, because all the money I invest in going on trips, making videos, travel, food, hotels, that's like nothing. I'm losing money. But I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I like traveling. I'm just making the videos whilst I'm traveling.
Is it worth it?
At the minute, it's not worth it, but I'm very ambitious and I always think of the future. Like I say, I've always been thinking about making videos and I've always been doing this, so it's just kind of, I'm just filming what I'm doing. And also, I do really want to inspire other people to do what I do, like interact with people. Don't just go on a tour and take photos and selfies and do an Instagram post and go home. No, do something different. Like, get on the train, go to Tokyo, get on the train and get lost and explore, and then have a look like, oh, what's this? I can't read that. Oh, that's cool. Wow, look at that. Look at that building. Like, just go look at stuff and enjoy it. But in the future, I really want to have a business kind of related to what I already do now, but selling, it's like merchandise, but travel equipment, like travel gear. Like, I don't want to give my secrets away because I've got some good ideas for like stuff that I want to sell. I want, but it's not in the market. And I know if I have a following in the future that likes traveling, they'll find it really useful. That's what I want to do in the future, but I have to get there first. But I'm always thinking to the future.
If you look ahead, when is the point where you just think like, I've made it?
When I have a house, my own, with no mortgage, and that's my base. And then once I've got my house, I don't really have to worry about having to rent somewhere, having to stay in a hotel. I'm just like, this is my house. But then I can also travel the world, make videos, go back and edit them. It doesn't matter where the house is, but that's all I aim for, is to have a house with no mortgage. Once I've got that, freedom.
If people want to support you, let's say they've heard your dream, they want to help you get where you want to be, how can they do it?
Subscribe to my channel. That's it. Super simple. Because then my channel will grow, my videos will get more views, and yeah. Or if you want to be super helpful, buy a t-shirt. But easiest thing is just subscribe. It's just click a button. That's it. I don't know if it's a year from now, 2 years from now, 1 million subscribers. Like I say, I'm ambitious. Hopefully I get to that point. I know I will, but I don't know when it's going to be. Is it going to be this year, next year? I don't know, but it's going to happen. So I'm not going to give up. I know so.
That's what you got to think, and you got to know. But so there's a lot of people out there. They're doing everything for the paycheck, right? Every single week is just to get the next paycheck, and they're paying like rent, and they're not too satisfied, you know? What do you say to those kind of people?
It's tough because it depends who the person is. If you're a single individual with no kids, no mortgage, let's say you're 30 years old and you're working in a bar and you've got like $5,000 saved, quit and travel. Or if you've got something in the back of your mind, try and do like a little business idea, like, oh, I like swimming. I'm gonna start a swimming business where I teach kids swimming. Like, just do something, like try something different. But it's a lot harder for people that are already settled with a wife and kids and a mortgage and a job. For them, it's a lot harder. But for people that are younger, the only reason it's hard is because of the mindset. I think it was before I went to Vietnam, I got a job in a startup magazine fitness company as a sales manager. And it was like good pay, good job. Second day I quit. I was like driving in the traffic, getting to this office, just 3 of us, a tiny office, sitting on a computer, looking outside at the blue sky. And the guy's like, oh, you should go and do this meeting today with this gym. Second day I was driving in the car and I thought, I'm not doing this. I texted him, I said I quit. That's when I think I decided to travel the world. I was in Finland because my ex-girlfriend was Finnish and I was writing a business plan to start a creperia, like a crepe van, you know, like selling crepes. Yeah. So I was writing this business plan for 2 weeks by myself. Like, right, I need to do something for myself. I can't go home and like work for somebody. I'm determined to do something for myself. And then all of a sudden, I stumbled across, randomly, this other thing, which is what I do now. And people are like, oh, he does drop shipping. It's not drop shipping. That's like a new, what are all these kids do now? It's not drop shipping. I stumbled across this new thing and I was just fully invested. When I first started it, I was terrible. I actually had to work in a pub whilst doing it because I wasn't earning any money. But obviously, over time I gained knowledge, and then like I say, I went back last year after Korea, and then the past year I've earned enough money to travel freely for 3 months where I don't have to worry. Like I stay in a nice hotel, I traveled to Japan, but it took a long time. Like in all my videos, at the end of the videos, I write, why have a 9 to 5? Life's too short. And I live by that. Like, I had a 9 to 5 for 2 days and quit. I hustled my ass off, thinking of something else to do. Even if you don't have like an idea of what to do, like try think of something, and eventually you're gonna think of something. And I came to it. So I've got my successful thing that I do in England, but then I've also got YouTube. Like, you've always got to think of something else. And YouTube, like I say, I had Pirate Dan, didn't work out at the start. This is in the 4th year now. Channel's doing a lot better. Hopefully it grows, and then that'll be a second revenue in life. But you just have to work at stuff. Like, people just want stuff too easily. You have to work your absolute bollocks off. So that's my message. If you're working in a dead-end job and you don't like hard work, stay in that dead-end job. If you want to make something for yourself, you have to realize you got to work your ass off. Absolutely work your ass off. And that's my message.
A week ago, I almost gave up on this channel to return to the stability of a 9 to 5 life, but I still felt like I needed to give it just one more shot. Dan inspired me to work harder, not be entitled, and to listen to my inner voice that keeps telling me that I can do it. I have to put everything into this channel, including dedication, hard work, and my heart, because I think that's what it'll take to achieve my dream. I also wish that Dan and all of you will achieve your dream someday, or maybe you already have. I'd love to hear about your dream life down below if you feel like sharing too. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next week.